Get to this next issue because House Republicans are looking to get answers after a senior Justice Department official was demoted this week amid speculation that he contacted the research firm responsible for the so-called anti-Trump dossier. New subpoenas have now been issued in the Russia probe. Take a look at House Judiciary Committee member Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan grilling FBI Director Christopher Wray yesterday during his testimony on Capitol Hill. Watch.
Director, did Peter Strzok help produce and present the application to the FISA court to secure a warrant to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign?
Congressman, I'm not prepared to discuss anything about a FISA process in this setting.
Not of Peter Strzok. Was he involved in taking that to the court?
I'm not going to discuss in this setting anything to do with the FISA court applications.
And it's been reported that this dossier was all dressed up by the FBI, taken to the FISA court, and presented as a legitimate intelligence document, that it became the basis for granting a warrant to spy on Americans. And I'm wondering if that actually took place. It sure looks like it did.
And there you go. The author of the dossier was in contact with the Obama administration. Obviously, we know that this dossier now was used as the justification to spy on Donald Trump and the Trump campaign. Isn't that true?
Well, I don't know that. I think that what you've seen here, first of all, I think it's important to remember that the firm that people are talking about here was initially hired by a conservative publication that then was, and then later
they didn't hire Steele. That was the Democrats.
That was paid for by the Democrats, and people within Hillary Clinton's campaign are said to have signed off on it.
I think that this is look. I think this is all happening in a much broader context of a Russia investigation that is ongoing, and I think you've
no, it's all connected to the Russia investigation because of the dossier, and the dossier is obviously fraudulent.
But will you admit, though, that Mueller and his team, as biased as they might be, as these things come to light, they need to investigate that dossier, how it was put together, how the FBI used it. Was that why they opened the investigation into the Trump campaign in the first place? Was it used to get wiretaps? Like, isn't that part of it? Will you admit that Mueller needs to look at everything?
I think it is perfectly appropriate to ask for as much information as possible to get a full understanding of the scope of this investigation. Having said that, I also think it's really important when we're talking about the biases of a person like Bob Mueller. I think that that's really problematic because I've heard this a lot, and I've heard it from conservative outlets, particularly in the recent weeks. And I think that that's a real problem because Bob Mueller is someone who was universally understood to be above reproach. This is a person who...
But now we understand that's actually not true.
Well, I don't know about that.
How could he investigate his former colleagues at the FBI? How come we're just learning now about the agent that was sending the anti-Trump texts to his girlfriend? How come we're just learning about him now? He's been on this investigation all this while. He actually interviewed Hillary Clinton. He actually changed the language in terms of what Hillary Clinton did with the email scandal. What did he say? He changed it from gross negligence to carelessness. Jim Comey called it a matter instead of a criminal investigation because Loretta Lynch told him. Are you saying none of this is, you have a problem with any of this? The fact that the FBI has been completely politicized?
I think that what I have a problem with, honestly, is that particularly in the last few months, as this investigation has picked up steam, and as you've seen guilty pleas from people like Michael Flynn.
But no guilty pleas from Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin, who also lied.
I mean, you're seeing this investigation move forward.
No guilty pleas there.
You've seen this investigation move forward, and I think it is really problematic that as guilty pleas from people like Michael Flynn come forward, that there is a concerted effort to discredit a person like Bob Mueller, who...
Listen, he ran the FBI for 12 years, and he has told people privately who we've talked to on the air in the past, the FBI, I'm not going to have you besmirch the FBI. I will not have you tarnish the FBI's reputation. That's an issue, and he's Comey's close friend. If Comey's part of the problem, you're investigating your own friend. That's an issue.
This is a person who was appointed by the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, by Rod Rosenstein, who was chosen by President Trump.
No, I agree. But I think to raise the issue of is there a conflict is not off base.
I think raising the issue is one thing. I think that a concerted effort to besmirch the honor and integrity of a person who was universally understood to be above reproach.
Do you see any conflict around Bob Mueller right now?
I don't. I think that I think that Bob Mueller is an honorable individual. What I know of him is that he is universally respected, and I think that that's important.
Jake, thank you. Jake Maccoby there, Fox Business.